Hello, and welcome to another Monday live stream. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Shane Olson, and today I'm going to be sculpting this amazing design by my good friend Sean Galloway. You can check his art over at Sean Galloway Art on Instagram. So, welcome. Hey, what's up, Neil? How are you? Okay, this guy is like a head with pretty simplified body. So, you know what? I think I'm just gonna start by grabbing like this color. We'll sculpt it with this color. I don't know what happened to my pen holder. It fell. Okay, so this can be his cranium. And can just kind of squish this down. I'm doing good, thanks. Okay. It's just kind of a big round head like this, but I think it's squished in this direction a little bit and kind of leaning back somewhat. All right, how is everyone? Okay, so, and he's got this collar on, this big dog collar, it's pretty funny. Let's see. And then his body behind that. He's got these big horns that are kind of wrapped in this leather. And he's got this piece that kind of goes over the top of his mouth. So this will be interesting. Hey, what's up, Justin? How are you? Hey, Mark. Welcome. Hey, Neil, did you post this over on the Discord? Just reminding you if you haven't. Okay, now what I think I'm going to do is do this in two pieces. So I'm going to make this upper lip a piece, and then I can just take this sphere and squish it down to make the lower part of the mouth, I think. You did, thank you very much. Okay. Awesome. Verified. Okay. Just go ahead and block the body in right now. Why not? Get crazy. Somebody's asking me how I get the sphere or whatever object I'm inserting to align with the world. And basically I hold down shift to snap the object as I'm dragging it out. And one thing to note, a huge tip, is that the object will snap to the last known rotation or orientation of the gizmo. So keep that in mind. And if you need to reset it, you just turn on the gizmo, hold down Alt, and click on this arrow, and that will reset the gizmo to align with the world. So then the next time you drag out an object, it should match the world alignment. It confused me for the longest time until I kind of understood it. Okay, so the collar can wrap around this right here. The saddle can go up here. Hey there, welcome. And for the tail, I think again I'm just going to use a sphere and just kind of shape it into place. Like this. Kind of squish it and stretch it. And I can kind of turn it down like this. And then I can use move infinite a big brush and just kind of bend it around like that. Hey, what's up, Ian? How are you? Welcome, welcome. Okay, turn back to my regular move brush and then square it out. Yeah, Appa, so Avatar, I always say Avatar: The Last Blender is like it's my chicken noodle soup for when I'm sick. Is the best way to put it. Like, I don't know why, it just makes me feel better. I plug it in and watch it while I'm sick. I watch it other times too, with my grandson and stuff. But I think I've watched through the entire 3 seasons like 4 times. Oh, is it? Gosh dang, I thought Kyle did it. Okay, let me change it. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, should be updated right now. Is that better? Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's got so many awesome story arcs and great characters, great action, very satisfying ending. I like Korra, but not as much. Didn't have quite the storytelling goodness that Avatar or Aang, The Last Airbender had. Okay, great, thanks. Okay, I think that tail will work. But I need to make his head bigger. I think everybody did. Honestly. Okay, I'm gonna put all these in their own groups. I did watch the whole thing, but yeah, it just wasn't as good. Turn off symmetry, stick this in the middle, turn it back on, and now we're centered in the world. And let's make our head a little wide. What's up, Whitehead? Okay, I'm going to orient this so I can squish it in this direction. But he's kind of looking down, actually. What is Lone Game Master anyway, Ian? Okay. Pull these cheeks down a little bit. And then his head is kind of shaped like this in the back. Now, what in the world is going on? Look, see the center line? I started to pull this, and it was making, oh, that's why I got Move Infinite turned on. I'm a dummy. Oh, you fixed Tweety. Oh, you're Ben, Justin? Okay, got it. Sorry if I said your real name on here. Everybody's has all these different nicknames. You can never remember who's who. Xbox gamer tag is one of the suggested names. Oh, there you go. It's funny because when I read it really quickly, it says long. Like I don't know why I just breeze over that E. Long Game Master. Oh, funny. Okay. I'll do these legs in a minute. Just trying to work out the proportions of the head compared to the body and then get that tail. I'm going to ZRemesh this tail because I'm so happy that you can ZRemesh while just hiding it. Like that. Oh, I wonder if I need to go lower than that. I'm going to go all the way down. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Exactly. That's great because usually I would split this off into its own subtool, ZRemesh it, and then merge it back. So it's super great to be able to do that. Wasn't it you, Neil, that told me that's possible? Can't recall. Okay, I'm actually going to make this brown mask a separate piece too. Hello and welcome. How are you? Thanks for joining me today. There really only is it. So Restream shows me like the combined watchers of every platform. It says 3 out of 3 are hooked up, meaning I'm streaming to Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And it says the combined total is like 35. It's usually like closer to 150 or something like that. So I'm just wondering if all 3 platforms are working and what's going on. But I was kind of slow to fill my calendar, and so I was late, and so the advertisement for me streaming wasn't there, so that's probably a big part of it. Okay, but I stream at this time every Monday, so my super fans are here. Hey, what's up, Sammy? How are you? Haven't seen you streaming lately. I was just talking to Brad this morning. He's hoping to start streaming again. When I say streaming, I mean hanging out in the Sculpt room. Neil, do you know if ZRemesher works on unmasked stuff? Or does it have to be hidden? I'm going to save this. Oh, you've had a lot of, that's Brad's thing too. Freelance is good. YouTube showing 9? That's weird. 9. Yeah, oh, like you, oh, it was you in, okay. For some reason I was thinking it was Neil. So you have to hide it, okay. So I'm gonna grab this and kind of pull it down. Start to make that shape that mouth is taking. Okay, so hidden. Oops. Okay, all the way down, ZRemesh. It's probably going to be pretty dense. No, it's not too bad. Look at that. So great. That's my new favorite thing. Okay. So, in theory, I should be able to pull this one into a mouth shape. And I'm going to try this. Man, the hide ZRemesher is the best thing ever. Thanks, Ian. So if I pull this into just a really fast mouth shape and then ZRemesh it. Oof, did it. Look at that. So this is the shape that just got ZRemeshed. Yeah, did a great job. Okay, now you can see the head through there, so I can just mask that off and pull it back into space so you can't see it in his mouth. Okay, that's my new favorite thing. Jeez. How cool is that? Saves so much time. Exactly. Hello there, welcome. Okay. Let's make the nose. You know what? I kind of want to remesh. Man, I'm just like, I want to remesh everything. It's like Oprah. You get a remesh. You get a remesh. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Thought I had move selected. I can make a second mouth bag in this guy. You want to curve it enough that ZRemesher has something to grab onto. Okay, you can't see it, but it's back there. Always watch my videos. Great to see you live. Well, I'm glad you were able to hang out and catch me live. That's great. Okay, I want to go a little more dense with this head though. So let's go 0.5. Oops, that's going to mesh everything. That's not what I wanted. Remesh. Yeah, there we go. That's great. Okay. Started using 2023. The move brush feels different? Really? It's not good. Wonder what's up. Sure it's not a placebo effect? Okay. That's strange. You know, the back of his head I'm not loving. Grab this move infinite. And I want it to go like curl into this bottom piece like that. That's better. Okay, and now let's get his little nosy in there. A little nose. Maybe it feels a little like the fall off has less fade. Yeah, I haven't really felt that. But quite possibly. Okay, so his nose is quite low. And then it's got this like crease across it, so the top is a lot shallower than the bottom. Watching you from Turkey. My English is not very good, sorry. I welcome from Turkey. I actually consult with a company called Peak. Peak Mobile Games in Turkey. Yeah, great people. Welcome. Yeah, I actually do consulting, so if any of you work for companies that need character consulting, you can reach out to support@3dcharacterworkshop.com. Speaking of which, I need to follow up with one. Watching from Belgium, hello. There's an artist, Martin van Hoven. He is an amazing ZBrush artist from Belgium. Hey, Samarian, how are you? Good to see you. Has it been a while? Just gonna crease that nose. No, my smooth is way too intense. Trying to get this shape. Let's drops down more. Okay, and we can give this a color. What's Torquia? I think it's been a while. Nice to see the new 3-character word. Yeah, thanks. I'm actually updating it again. I was just doing that yesterday. Let's see. Okay, I need to make that wider and shallower. I don't know if I have a preview of it up right now. One second. I kind of want to show you what I got going on. So I'm combining my course back together. I pulled it apart just to make it more affordable, but now it's like, it's confusing to people because they're just like, well, I want this thing. And I'm like, well, that's in another section of the course that you don't have. So I kind of feel like, sorry, your princess is in another castle kind of a thing. Oh, goodness. So I'm putting them back together, and I'm probably going to make it more affordable just overall. Okay, so this is, this is my new site that I'm working on. So it's not up yet, it's not live yet, this is a preview. I give away my brushes for free, and you're going to be able to find them here and here. I'm still working on this, but and I'm going to be starting a Patreon, and then this is the main course, and I'm going to be doing one-on-one coaching as well. There's a little bit about me and a whole bunch of testimonials, and then right here is going to be a student gallery. So that's kind of the simplified, updated website that I'm pretty excited about. So it should be up in the next couple days. Yeah, Rye Gamer, please don't spam. And you're also watching the official Maxon live streaming channel, where I try and keep the conversation on Maxon products. I hope you can understand. And I do use it. I just can't talk about it while I'm streaming on this channel. Hope you can understand that. Yeah, Pixologic Maxon. I'm still not used to it either, man. Okay. Kind of taking it slow because I'm working out the proportions. Trying to anyway as I go. Yep, this is ZBrush. Okay, man, I love to be able to ZRemesh as I go. I can't stop talking about it, and I can't stop doing it. Can't stop, won't stop. I didn't fix that nose either, did I? Where are you guys from? I'm from the US, from the state of Utah. Hey, Armored Attacker, I like your name. It's ZRemesher, it's the same workflow, but last week, Ian, well, I am Lone Game Master, showed me that I can ZRemesh without having to split my objects off into new subtools and then merge them back together. So you can just hide everything else, ZRemesh one single object, and then unhide it. It's super good. Fan, how are you, man? I had a smoothie today too, brother. Mine was spinach, strawberries, mangoes, bananas, and power greens from Costco. Okay, yeah, for example, I would just, as soon as I get this into the kind of shape that I want, I can just isolate, hide it. Oh, it looks like, okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna put that nose in its own subtool and hide it, or a polygroup and hide it. So, I mean, this is pretty good geometry as it is right now, but if I wanted to ZRemesh it, I could. So I just hit ZRemesher and it ZRemeshes it just like that. It kind of gave me this eye cluster. Yep, so that's how you do it. Okay, looks like I'm getting some weird. I'll turn off local symmetry for a second before I do this. So it looks like it did some mirror and welding. So whenever you get, see these little anomalies like this? I can just grab them and kind of pull them over to one side because ZBrush will mirror from screen left to screen right over here. Yeah, Paul DC is amazing. I love Paul. So basically, to fix these little issues, I'm going to turn off dynamic subdivisions. I'm going to turn off symmetry, grab my move brush, and I'm just going to pull all of these problem vertices off to the right when looking at it from the front. Okay, there's some problem ones up here too, and I'm just pulling them to the right. Use a bigger brush and pull more at the same time. Okay, and then you can do a mirror and weld anytime, and then if I turn dynamic back on, it fixes those problems. Now it's nice and clean again. Okay. Activate Sculptress Pro game. I don't understand. So the concept is Appa from Last Airbender. And it's made, it's just a fan art from Sean Galloway. You can check out his stuff. What do you do with these models? Sometimes I'll 3D print them, like the ones you see back here. And sometimes I'll make game characters out of them. Let me fill this. Okay. Fix this nose. Probably save it as a good idea. Okay. Better turn back symmetry back on. And I have topological masking turned on, which means that as I'm pulling an object, it won't affect another object. Like, for example, I can pull this nose around. I want to make it a little skinnier and less tall, like this. So I can move it around without affecting what's behind it. If I have this turned off and I do the same thing, see how it grabs everything? I don't necessarily want that. Yeah, it's just stylized, more cartoony, more simplified, more exaggerated. Can you make it in real life using clay? I probably could, but I don't really spend that much time with real clay. Because real clay doesn't have undos, like Control Z. Okay, I'm going to give him a tongue. Might as well just grab that color while I'm here. Hey, what's up, Jerome? How are you? I know, I need to. I need to. I need you to show me the way, my friend. Jerome is an expert. Traditional clay sculptor from Pixar. How are you, Jerome? I'm going to see you again Thursday. I'm trying to ask those guys if they want me to continue where I left off last week or do the whole thing again because it's new people. Okay, so let's see, mirror and weld. Clay has undo, it's a knife. And symmetry, you have two hands, right? You can work symmetrically as you go down. That's how you turn symmetry on. Which app is best for 3D modeling? Well, there's a few ways to do 3D modeling. If you're going to be sculpting, 3D sculpting like this, then ZBrush is the best, in my opinion. So if you're going to be modeling, like traditional polygon modeling, then I would use something like, I mean, there's so many out there, like Maya or something like that. ZBrush does have this ZModeler brush that will allow you to model traditionally. It just takes some getting used to, and it's totally fine other than that. So okay, let's see. I'm just going to paint this. Whoops. Kind of painting colors as I go. But since Polypaint is vertex coloring, it will only paint the dots. So you can see this dot right here. If I paint it, that's kind of what it's doing. So with ZBrush, if you have a whole bunch of those little dots, that's when you get a nice clean painting. But if it doesn't, like this, then it's kind of looks a little gradient. Is gradiated a word? Gosh dang it. I just want to paint this one and this one. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's make some eyeballs. What time is it? In where I'm at, it is 12:36. So half an hour past noon. Looks like he's got these eyes that are 12 a.m. in Nepal. So 12-hour difference. Okay. So these eyes are kind of oblong. I usually try and keep my eyes spherical because of for rigging purposes, but these are special. Unique, I guess. Is that the word I'm looking for? Look at me with your special eyes. Okay. And decide if that's enough of a curvature. I think so. All right, and he's not Appa till he's got his teeth in there. Bye. Thanks for hanging out. Okay. Appa slug. Yep, totally Appa slug. We turn local symmetry back on. It's funny because most of the animals in the Avatar universe are like a combination of two animals. It'd be funny if it was a combination of a dog and a slug. Who needs legs when you can fly? Ah, he's angry. Angry Appa slug. Okay. Just looking to see if I got any overhanging bits, which I do. And I need it to be within the... Okay. Is ZBrush better than what? Is ZBrush better than Mudbox? Is that what you're saying? Well, you're watching again. You're watching the official Maxon live streaming channel. And whether it was or not, I would answer with a resounding yes. But I do like to keep the conversation on Maxon products. Okay, I'm just looking at my measurements. I still need to pull his lip up so it's shorter. Okay, that's more like it. We got 78 people watching now. That's better. I love these simple shapes. They make me laugh. Okay. He needs some teeth. And some horns and some ears and some legs. We'll get there. Okay. I also like to throw this out there. If you ever want to eyedrop a color off of your concept, you want to make sure that you hit Z or Z on your keyboard to make this ring show up. Then if you hover over your concept, you can hold down C as in cat, and you can notice when I drag over this, you can see the colors changing, right? And you don't have to tap or anything. You just hover over the color and then let go, and you'll have that color in your color swatch. And you can just push Z again, and you're good to go. Now you have the color. If you don't have that ring showing, it's going to grab this whatever color your background is. Hey Grubber, welcome. What brushes would you say you use the most? Move brush and smooth brush. That's all you really need, honestly. Sometimes I'll use the pinch brush on occasion, but typically it's the move brush and the smooth brush. Okay. Which video should I start with to learn ZBrush? So ZBrush has a ZBrush Classroom that you can check out. And there's also Michael Pavlovich has a whole bunch of beginning videos on YouTube. It's funny because these are like molars. But I'm going to squish them front to back a little bit anyway. And then I also teach an online course called the 3D Character Workshop that actually starts from beginner and goes all the way to game character and 3D printing character. And so I have some beginning videos in there, but it's part of the larger course. Yep, sure. And my website is 3dcharacterworkshop.com if you're interested. I like them with just 2 teeth. That's funny. They're a little long. Shorten them up a bit. Okay, now let's give him some bottom teeth. I think I'm just going to duplicate these. Now, to duplicate something, all you have to do is mask everything you don't want to duplicate, then hold down Control and grab just one of these transformation, either these corners or these arrows, and move it, and it will duplicate it. Hey, what's up, Matt? How are you? Okay, so let's get these down here. Bring them in. What workflow are you using now? Dynamesh? I don't use Dynamesh really. You might not be interested in lowering your topology later. It's quite low right now. Okay, I'm going to flatten the top of these. Watching and sculpting. That's good to hear. Okay, I'm going to use this AccuCurve so I can make a sharper curve and kind of make these a little more square. So the workflow I'm using is ZRemesher more than Dynamesh on this guy. Yeah, for now I'm using, I typically will use just low resolution primitives that are dynamically subdivided. And then when I'm ready, I will sometimes use Sculptress Pro to add detail. And then eventually I might ZRemesh it. But I typically don't use Dynamesh anymore. Unless I'm experimenting. Okay, I want to scale these up this direction. Okay. Looks so naked without his horns and stuff. It's funny. Okay, I'm going to take this and actually ZRemesh it higher resolution. Let's see. I wish I could keep colors with ZRemesher is all. I haven't seen much good workflow around Sculptris Pro without it being snake hook related. Oh, if you want to watch some of my past videos, I use it a lot. So I typically live stream on here every Monday. And you can watch past live streams of mine if you just type my name, Shane Olson, Pixelogic, and it's on their Pixelogic channel. I think I have over 200 videos on there, something like that. You can go check them out. There we go. Hey Josh, how are you, man? You can under the ZRemesher, there should be a keep polypaint option. Oh, yeah, this is 2022. They haven't gotten me 2023 yet. But they just barely gave it to me like right before this live stream. I just don't have it installed yet. That's great. Closing in on 300 by now, huh? Oh, geez. Okay, I'm just going to smooth this out overall, because it kind of wants to stick itself to the lower resolution thing. See how this is white? That's funny. Okay, let's just fill it back with this. There we go. And it didn't keep my internal mouth coloring, but that's okay. What I was wanting to do was pinch his lips. See how this edge is quite tight, so now that I have this ring, grab the pinch brush, turn down the intensity a bit, and just kind of run it along here. Something like this. Just to gather that together and then smooth it back out. Not too much. Okay. And then I want to tuck it down behind the lip just to kind of give it an edge right here. I can pull this one up. And this is like poly modeling but sculpting. Like pushing the polys around with a brush instead of moving them individually. And now we have kind of a shelf that's in front of these teeth that acts as a lower lip. Now I can get these teeth kind of behind. Hello, tongue. Okay, looks like when I did a mirror and weld, it made this little biscuit in the middle. How long do you think it will take before 3D printing toys will be mainstream? Josh, I think it's happening now. So, but they're too slow right now, like the printers. Here, I'm gonna just isolate this one. Auto groups, and it'll put that little kind of middle biscuit in its own group here. Okay. Okay, now hide it and delete it. Are these welded in the middle? They are. Okay. It's okay. Mirror and weld everything. Okay, let's get him some horns, shall we? The resin printing. They are resin. I can't say that. Resin printing minis for the tabletop wargame War Machine now. Yeah, for sure. And there's a big business for like selling STLs, like on Etsy, or there's a new site called Thangs. Instead of things, it's Thangs, where individual creators can have a store and sell their STLs there. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna grab this appendage brush. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Now, there's a couple ways I can bend these horns. In fact, I think I'm gonna bend them with the, I'm gonna turn perspective back off. See how it tries to snap to the last known gizmo location. So if I look at my gizmo, see how it's twisted? If I reset that to the world like this, now when I drag it out, it should snap to there. That's good. Okay. I want them thinner though. So push back in, makes them thinner. Scale it down, and then I'm going to put this into its own subtool. So split unmasked points, arrow down, so it'll select this one. And then there are these modifiers. So you can go into this gear, and you can select this bend curve modifier, and it puts it down the length of this horn like this. But there's only 2 dots, so I can only move 1 dot or the other. I need more dots, so I'm going to grab this little orange handle right here and pull it once. So now I have 1 more handle. I'm going to pull it 1 more time, so I get 5 dots. So now I can start to shape these horns like this. They're too huge right now, but I kind of want to just get the general shape, and then I'll move them and scale them into place after this. You want to be careful because sometimes you'll kink the hose like this. It's great for arms and elbows, but for something like this, you don't want it to be kinked. And you can also scale these dots and twist them. See, twist, scale, squeeze. So scale, you can actually go like this and scale them up and down, and twist. You can't really see, I mean, I guess you can see that it's twisting like a soft serve ice cream cone, but yeah, that's all I need. And then when you're done, you just go back to this gear and you hit accept, and now all the editing stuff will go away, and now you have this new object to play with. So I'm going to put this into the head a little bit more, and up here, rotate them forward slightly, maybe, and then back a little bit. Still too big. Still too big. Maybe like that. Yeah, something like that. And then kind of want to scale them down the length somewhat. Maybe like this. Okay. Slow and just a bit dangerous for the average consumer. Yeah, they're getting cheaper. I don't know that they're getting any less toxic though. And I'm talking about the resin printers. Now, the FDM printers, the extrusion printers, they're a lot safer. They're a lot cleaner. And they're just not as clean. So everything you see behind me here, these were printed on a Formlabs printer, a Form 2 and a Form 3. So I have some off screen here. I mean, you can see some of the boxes of resin right there. That's what these are, boxes of resin. Let's see if I can go full camera. Hello. Yeah, you can see, whoops, sorry. You can see these are boxes of resin. You can see some of these prints. Yeah, the FDM printers are getting better and better, but nothing beats a resin printer as far as quality. But these are more brittle, so if you drop them, they tend to break. Like the very tip of her sword came off, and there's like a thing on the bottom that came off. Here, let me grab it. Hold on. Let's see if the camera will zoom in on it so you can see it. Come on, focus. No. So it broke off right here. See this little thing? And then the tip of her sword. But yeah, this was fun. I did this on the stream. Yeah. Okay, let me put it back. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while. I need to do another one. So, I'm gonna be starting a Patreon soon, and I'm gonna be doing full characters on my Patreon. So you can watch me sculpt live, and I'm gonna do full characters. I'm like more detailed than this one. So with these streams, I only have two hours per week, and I feel like doing a full character just strings it out way too long. So I'm gonna do full characters on my Patreon. So if you want to hang out, and I'm gonna be doing 3D printing there too. So I'll be announcing that soon. If you want to get on my emailing list, if you go over to 3dcharacterworkshop.com, you can scroll to the bottom or download my free brushes. Both of those things will put you on my emailing list, and you'll get notified when I go live with that. Should be very soon. Yeah, I have a whole backlog of concepts that I've been wanting to do. Like this has been a long time ago, right? And I want to do some full characters. I've just been too busy teaching, and I just want to get into this cadence of creating character after character. Yeah, I have a whole back catalog that I've commissioned from several artists like Josh Black and Johannes Helgeson and Luigi Lucarelli, and yeah, just a whole bunch. Okay. Now that those horns are there, I'm just gonna get some legs roughed in. Let's get the right color. When Appa flies, his legs go out like this sometimes, so it's kind of funny. Do you have a backlog on painting the Disney Infinity Thespian? I do. My gosh. I still have that guy sitting right over there. You did such a good job on that. Oh, geez. Have you gotten any new characters, by the way? Like, anything you've been working on? Okay. Let's see, these legs are kind of weird. They're kind of bent out. So I've always been into like fantasy and D&D, and since I was a kid, like I used to paint or draw with pastels. I used to live in the basement of my parents' house, and it was unfinished basement, so it was just concrete walls, and they let me like just draw with pastel, temporary chalk on the walls. And I did like a big sleeping dragon and stuff on the walls, and I also used to snowboard a lot, and I would take snowboards and paint on them. And I was a fan of Dragonlance, like the Dragonlance series of books, which it turns out the writer of those books lived not too far away from me. And there was a particular drawing that I fell in love with, a concept that I fell in love with, and I ended up airbrushing it on one of my snowboards, and I absolutely loved it. And so I commissioned Josh Black to draw it for me again, like updated and new and colored, and I want to sculpt that and print it out because it's super cool. I don't understand all the D&D stuff. How can I find an original concept of D&D to do in 3D that hasn't been done? It actually has. Yeah, like D&D is just a game that you make up in your mind as you go. So it's just like high fantasy, like dwarves and elves and whatever. So, I mean, an elf is an elf. You can just make up whatever you want it to look like. There's nothing that says this is how they have to look. So most characters, like if you see, if you go to, there's one called Loot, and Loot is on Patreon, and almost all of Loot's characters are original concepts for them. So you probably shouldn't get their concepts and paint and sculpt your own version of theirs, but I'm just saying you could. You know what? I don't want to duplicate this yet. I want to make him have a foot. Very few real life anatomy books on fantasy species. They're around if you look. Okay, let's see. I want to pinch. See how this kind of has this foot that comes out, and then it just has like these 3 toes hanging down. So I need to, well, I'm going to put these toes on the end here. I'm going to make just one so I can duplicate it. That's not what I want, just a sphere. Oh, thanks for linking that. Sumerian, are you still here? I'm going to show it off on the stream. Yeah, look at this. This is what Sumerian did. So great. I love it. And then he sent me a copy of it, a Christmas version. Anyway, it's amazing. Yep, still here. I was just asking you what you're working on now. Anything cool? Any new awesome things? Oh, funny. Some schlub. Okay, let me do clip curve. Working on Ryu from Street Fighter. Nice. My son's been playing the heck out of the new Street Fighter game. Just trying to get as much energy into the pose as I can. Fun. Yeah, Street Fighter characters always have really fun poses. You know what? Trying to think of how I want to do this. I don't want to squish it just yet. Basically, I think I'm going to have this represent all 3 toes, and then I'll slice it up. I haven't looked at the new characters. My son was saying they're really cool. so I want them kind of wide and hanging down. I want the fur to kind of overlap them. The new designs for Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I gotta check them out. I can't remember what character he said he likes to play. Naming some characters that I don't even know who they are. It's like, it's not the originals, you know, it's not one of the originals like E Honda or anything. Okay. That's good. I might give him a little bit more of a palm. Like that. Okay. So in order to do this, I need to clip them down. So I'm going to split them off. And then I think I got to hide. Whoops. Hide and delete this one. Well, I need to turn off symmetry first. Otherwise, I'll cut into it. And so I don't want to do that. Let's see. Delete hidden. I think slice curve will do it. Let me take a look. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. So I'm going to slice this through like this. And that'll be one toe, and then I'll slice this one through like this. Okay. Then, now that I have these three, what I can do is split groups, and it will split this into 3 different toes. So group split right here. Okay, so now it's splits them, but now it's going to make some holes. So I have to fill the hole of each of these. So if I turn on double, you can see that this is just kind of an empty open thing. So if I go close holes, and then if I hit Control W, it's going to make one whole shape. And now I can ZRemesh this at the lowest. And then it'll give me this, and I can kind of soften it up a little bit, nice and clean, and then rinse and repeat for these other ones. So again, this is kind of like a hollow shell. Close holes, Control W, ZRemesh, except for it's too high. Gotta crank it all the way down. Just call them Pokemon once. At certain age acceptable. Yeah, for sure. Okay, now this middle one is a little different because it's got an open hole on both sides. But premise is the same. Close holes on both sides. Control W. ZRemesh. And then we have this. We can smooth it out a little bit. And now it should have 3 toes. Yeah, there we go. Nice and clean. And then I just need to repaint them. So let's fill each of these with this brown color. And I just gave myself an eye grain. All right. I get these eye grains, they're called. It's like an eye migraine. It doesn't hurt, but if I look at something super high contrast, like white text on a black background, and then I flip my eyes really quickly to something with a white background with black text, it'll spin my eyes into a tizzy, and I'll get these like fuzzy areas in my vision. Great approach for a cloven foot. Racked my brain for a long time trying to figure out how to make it look that clean. Yeah, this is I mean, this is just one way. Doesn't take too long. And then I can merge these down one at a time. So merge down. Now I have all three of them in one. And then making sure local symmetry is turned off. And mirror and weld this back to the other side. And now I have a hoof. And before I mirror them, I want to kind of edit the base so it has a little flare out. How do you select faces with the ZModeler brush without masking? Like, what are you trying to do, Jace? So essentially, it's easier if you turn dynamic subdivision off when you're using ZModeler. But basically, how ZModeler works is if you click ZModeler and you hover over a face, see, this is a pre-selection. It's not actually selecting anything. It's showing you what you will select. And it's also giving you a context-sensitive menu. So if you're hovering over a face like this and you push spacebar, it's going to give you all of the things you can do with faces. Okay, so if you want to select specific faces, you can go to Polygroup, a single poly, and then you can start just clicking on faces. And then you can just have those faces, for example. And now if you wanted to extrude them, you can hover over one of them, hold down spacebar, hit extrude, but instead of a single poly, so this is your target, you would select Polygroup all, like this. And now if I click and drag, it's going to extrude just those polygons. Okay, and there's so many different ways to make a new polys and things like that. So that's essentially how. And you can also do, you can paint temporary face groups by holding down Alt, and you can just make a face group like this. Yeah, polygroup. It's just a great way to temporarily assign polys. Now, you can select multiple polygroups at once by holding down Control plus Shift and selecting a shared vertice. So this vertice, this dot, it's sharing the purple, the white, and the red. And so if I click on this, it's going to isolate just that. And then I can hit Control W again. It's going to put everything in that mesh island in its own polygroup. Okay, so now I have this. And what I can do is grab this pinch brush and just kind of run it. I don't think I have enough edge loops in here, so I'm going to put a couple more edge loops. And I can use this ZModeler brush, and the default is insert edge on an edge. So I could just hover over here and put a couple more in there, like that. And then go back to my pinch brush and just kind of run it along this edge. Just pick an edge and just kind of run it like that. Because basically what I'm trying to do is get this kind of shape that comes down, pinches into a valley like this, and then kicks back out. So you might have to do it a couple times with pinching and then smoothing just to kind of get it to work. And then with moving as well. Thanks. I keep expecting ZModeler to be Maya. Nope, it's not Maya. I used Maya for 15 years of my career, maybe even more. And that was the biggest kind of jolt coming from Maya to ZBrush. When I first started using ZBrush, the ZModeler brush didn't exist. So there was very, very limited polygon modeling of any sort. But now they've put ZModeler in, and it's kind of a different, unique approach to manipulating individual polygons and points. It's kind of refreshing in some ways, and in other ways you're just like, I just want to do this one thing. Why can't I just do this one thing? You know, it's frustrating when you know what you want to do and you don't know how to do it. But with practice and some instruction, you know, you can figure it out. Speaking of instruction, do you guys remember Joseph Drust? Joseph Drust used to work for Pixelogic back in the day. He used to make a whole bunch of tutorials. And I saw him playing Diablo 4 yesterday, and I said hello. And he's doing well, and he's going to try and make it to the ZBrush Summit this year, he said. So that's cool. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year or not. I'm going to try. We'll see. Okay. So now I kind of have this pinched, probably too much. In Trust We Trust. Hey, what's up, Ian? How are you, man? Are you playing some Diablo 4, Ian? I know, man. Yeah. Yeah, I need to sell more courses. Let's say it. Let us come out and say it. So if you guys want some training, I have a fully inclusive online course. Like I said, soon I'm making a Patreon and some one-on-one individual coaching. You're on the Zelda train. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I'm going to merge these toes with the body. I'm going to save it first, though. Okay, let's merge this down. And then isolate these three. Mask everything off. And then duplicate it. Man, this eye grain is driving me crazy. It's really hard to read. Have you decided how much your Patreon tiers are going to cost? Yeah, you know, I'll get a poll from you guys. So I'm going to try to do 3 tiers. The first tier is just kind of a super fan tier for $3 a month. So if you just want to support me and, you know, get exclusive Patreon posts, you could do that. And then the next tier up is $10 a month. And that is just going to be just like you're watching right now, except for full characters. And I'll be doing them in not just ZBrush, but other software as well. And full characters start to finish. And then I have one more tier that's $15 a month that when I'm done with my characters' high resolution meshes, I'm going to take them to 3D print, and you can see how I chop them up, like key them, get them ready for 3D printing, slice them, and stick them on the printer, and then how to clean up the prints. So that's the whole idea. What do you guys think about that? Sound like something you'd be interested in? Okay, I'm going to grab these 2 pieces, split them off, and then weld them together. Oops, it is here. Go to Remesh by Union, accept, turn symmetry back on. Now I have this that I can remesh. Oh, right on time. Register for the summit right now. You must have heard me. Sounds great and comparable to other. Awesome. Could work might be of interest to distribute files, but unsure if you want to deal with that. I was thinking about as a bonus to the higher tier, I would give away the STLs so other people can print out the STLs, but I wouldn't give away my like ZBrush files and stuff. Can you perhaps suggest a quality artist offering one-on-one mentoring for hard surface sculpting? Ian, do you know of any that are doing hard surface stuff? Because I'm going to be starting a one-on-one mentorship, but I'm not really, I do minimal hard surface stuff just for props and whatnot. Thanks, Ian. I hope so. Yeah, I would love to give away the STLs for people to print, but I'm not going to be in the business of selling STLs. That's not, it's, I want to be, I just want to sculpt characters and let people hang out and watch me just like you're doing right now. And then, you know, and then hopefully get some kickback for it. I do volunteer my time here. Let's see. And I wouldn't stop my these live streams here on this channel either. It's in addition to. I have a few names. Let me DM you. I've done a lot of hard surface lately. There you go. Maybe Ian can help you out. So if you guys don't know who IR Sculpts is, it's Ian who actually works for Maxon. Does some amazing stuff. He's also a student of mine. Dude, I want to go just to like hang out with you in person to ZBrush Summit. Okay, I don't use cylinders very often, but this is the case. Buy the STL if you sculpt your signature on it. Yeah, man. I do sculpt my signature on my pieces, actually. I'll show you. There's one on the base of my cowboy. Is it in September? Is that when? All right, dude. Well, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we'll have to chat about it. All right, take care. Okay, he's got too long of a neck. I need to squish his whole head. Oh, let's see. I need to... Okay, his head is separate. What time we got? An hour and a half? 1 hour, 24 minutes so far. Okay. And the live sculpting there on Patreon will just be 2 hours per week, just like I do here. Probably on Tuesdays around the same time is what I'm thinking right now. Would that work for you, Neil? I haven't talked to you about that yet. Like Tuesdays I was thinking Sundays, but I think Sundays run into too much family time, so probably can't do that, even though most people are home on Sundays. Good suggestion, but apart from the ZBrush Summit, what would you say is the best convention to go to specifically in the interest of 3D artists? Ian, that's a hard one. I have a whole list of them that I love. So CTN was fantastic back in the day. I don't know if it's picked back up since COVID. Let's see, and then there's Lightbox. That's another one that's really good. There's always Comic-Con, but that's not the greatest for 3D artists. There's Game Developers Conference if you're into game stuff. Hey Pradeep, tail looks much longer than his body. Yeah, it's in perspective. So he's gonna be kind of like turn on perspective like this. I need to actually make his head smaller, and there's some adjustments. I've only been doing this for an hour and a half, so there's still a lot of adjustments I need to make it work. I made his head too big now. Okay. I'm trying to think of some other ones. SIGGRAPH, but SIGGRAPH is kind of more for the technical people, less 3D character artists. The concept? Oh, yeah, the concept is what it is. I'm not doing anything. It's exaggerated and simplified. That's the whole idea of it. Artist choices. Okay. Now I need to make the top of his head so much bigger than his lower mouth. I gotta fix that. Sorry, I'm just concentrating on proportions for a minute. Yep, concept is king. So I'm just following whatever the artist decided to do. And the artist is Sean Galloway. He's an amazing artist. I love his stuff. Okay, that's better. Every time I transpose a group, I can't move individual pieces anymore. Really? That's weird. I really love your approach. I get into sculpting way too early. That's the biggest problem of most sculptors. Is because detailing is fun, and so you want to get to the detailing very quickly, and that's like the opposite of what you should be doing. Let's see, let me split hidden. Just going to put this in its own group and color it red. Still want to kind of bury this whole color in his fur a little bit more. And I want to move these legs. So yeah, when I mask off his head, I just want to move his legs and the body together. So to do that, you just hit these pizza boxes, which is called Transform All Selected Subtools. Turn that on, and what I usually do is Control Shift and drag a couple times to get it all clear. So we'll see how it's clear. And then, well, let's see. And then grab Select Lasso, and then lasso the parts that you want to move. And it will respect masking. So now I'm moving the body and everything together. I don't want to move that collar though. So I'm going to make it invisible and then shove the body up in there closer. There we go. Then just make sure you turn off those pizza boxes. Otherwise you'll accidentally move stuff you don't want to. Okay, yep, take your time, speed will come. Like I said, I've only been at this for an hour and a half to block this much out. You can get so much of your character done in the block out stage. And then the rest is, it's like making a cake. If you get the cake right, then all the frosting will just be frosting and it'll make it just look and taste better. But if your cake is garbage or tastes bad, no amount of frosting is going to fix it. Hey, what's up, Howie? Welcome. Pizza fixes everything. That's the truth. Adjusting these legs to flow into the body a little more. And they're kind of too tall. Make them squattier. Okay. Mask this whole thing off. And they're even smaller than that. Little tiny toes just sticking out there. And then the curvature of this body, I think getting a saddle on there will help. And I need to get his ears on there. I know, it's like those what's that baking show where they make cakes and they try and make them look a certain way and they don't always turn out. They try to copy somebody else's cake. Okay, let's get a kind of the Great British Baking Show. That's the one. Hey, what's up, Ash? How are you? What element would you be bending? Ooh, that's a good question. Ooh. Digital clay. No. How are you, Ashley? Welcome. Welcome. So if you guys don't know who Ashley is, yeah, Earth. That's true. Yeah, clay is earth. I'd probably be an earthbender, so I could sculpt. Water, fire, and air, it just doesn't stick around. How about you? Hyper-realistic cakes. Anyway, Ashley's another sculptor here on the Maxon, official Maxon live streaming channel. She does incredible sculpts of mostly monsters, occasionally stylized characters. Yeah. She goes live on Wednesdays, typically. Yeah, that'd be awesome, right? I'd love to fly. Yeah, Zuko kind of did a bed bender. Nice. I like it. So what's new? Ashley, are you going to be going to the ZBrush Summit this year? Are you going to make it this year? Like in the flesh? In person? No. Gosh dang it. I'm trying to. No promises, trying to. I know it's difficult because you're quite far away, yeah? I think I went to every single one of them except for the very first one. I think. Just yesterday I was wearing my ZBrush shirt from 2016. Yeah, how is your eye? Okay, I'm going to split this off. I want to try something. So, actually, my new favorite thing that one of my students, Ian, showed me last week was I didn't know that you could ZRemesh an isolated object, like hide everything and just ZRemesh the one thing. I was still like splitting off the meshes, ZRemeshing that, and then combining them back together. So did you know that was possible? You're apprehensive of flying still since COVID messed my eye. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, check it out. Okay, check it out. Here we go. Yeah, it's crazy. So here, I'm going to, so see this saddle, the fluffy part around the outside. I mean, I could run a tube around it, right? But I'm in the 3D printing mentality where I want everything solid, and I don't want any air gaps and stuff like that. So instead, I want to take this piece, duplicate it, kind of fluff up the outer edge, and then ZRemesh it into that shape. So that's what I'm thinking before I do it. Let's see if I can pull it off. So I'm going to duplicate this, hold down Control, duplicate it so it's a second object, scale it up. Yep, I am Lone Gain Master. That's Ian. He's the one who showed me this. Okay, so now I have this, right? And I can take move and kind of squish the interior down. You can't really tell I'm doing anything here. And then I can use inflate, just kind of go around the outside, inflate it up. So if I'm going to hide this guy. So I just have this piece using the move brush, and I just need to give ZRemesher something to hold on to, like peaks and valleys, basically. So this really isn't that high a resolution, but since this is isolated, you know, the other piece is hidden, right? So now I can ZRemesh it. So here we go. I'm going to go down lower, 0.1, ZRemesh. Boom. Check that out. Woohoo! And I want to mask this off. Or are you saying ZRemesher appreciates separate meshes? I use this feature a lot. So, yeah, well, like hidden meshes, right? So, like I said before, I would like split it off into its own subtool, ZRemesh that, instead of just keeping it in the same subtool, which was a time-consuming POS. But now it's like ba-boom. Ba-ba-boom. Yeah. Okay. Welcome, Synopsis. Welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm going to pull this down using this amazing move infinite. It's another good one. So right now it's moving both sides of this saddle all the way down. Northern Ireland, right? Welcome. How is it in Northern Ireland? Man, I need to make that even poofier and bring this seat down even further. Hot these days. Yeah, that's what I hear. Actually, you could just wear a respirator. It's like a full-on, like, what? What are you looking at? El Nino weather. Yeah, that's true. All right. Trying to decide how long, if he's long enough. I think so. His tail is sticking out too wide. Only, but I take psychic damage. Yeah. Oh, oh, it hurts. just use N95s. Still good. There we go. Yep. Okay. I can go to the bathroom, but I can wait 15 minutes, I think. All right, let's see. I want to scrunch his whole face smaller. How do I do that, you ask? Okay, since they're all in the same poly group. Yep. Redirect urgency. Okay. Blur. Well, since they're all in the same subtool, it's easy. I can just put my scale right in the middle. Well, I better make sure it's in the middle. Oh, it's perspective. Don't work with perspective on, folks. ZBrush don't like it. Okay. So I want to scale it from like here. And then kind of pull it back in space and rotate it. He's flying, so he's always looking down. And I need to pull his whole head on the top forward to match what I just did. You could give him one bigger eye and one smaller eye, like the concept. No, that's perspective. I mean, I could, but that's kind of, I think it's Sean trying to show perspective. Said in one stream, the secret of the move brush to get a good and clean topology is not to move. I mean, one needs to master that powerful brush. Okay. Yeah, so I think it was during the ZBrush Summit when Matt Thorpe and I, Redbeard, when he and I did a presentation, someone asked me how do we keep the meshes so clean? And I responded with, don't touch it. And it was funny at the time, but I was serious. So the less you touch the surface of your mesh, the smoother it will be. And to add to that, basically what you want to do is have the lowest mesh possible to define the form, and then subdivide it. And then you just move the subdivided mesh, and then it keeps everything clean. So on the flip side, if you have like a Dynameshed mesh or a Sculptress Pro mesh that's very, very dense, and you're just like touching it all the time, it's going to look like a mess, right? It's going to look like, I don't know, frosting on a cake again. Go back to that. It's just going to be all lumpy and bumpy, and I call it warbly, right? So if you have a very, very low resolution, you can see how low of resolution this is. Keep it ZRemeshed, and then use big brushes, like a big move brush, and just move it around like slowly and intentionally, right? And then you'll keep your surfaces smooth, because the smoothest object, again, is a low resolution subdivided mesh. Like if you subdivide a cube, it's smooth, right? So anyway, that's my spiel. Avoid the lumps. Oh, you could, Ashley, but this I'm talking about for like super smooth. Yeah, you could challenge that. So I say that now, but I've been using a program that must not be named on a mobile device, and there is no ZRemesher in that bad boy. And so I'm having to teach myself how to deal with denser meshes that way. And the secret to that is a very, very, very strong smooth brush and a very strong relax brush. Although in that program, relax doesn't work that well. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, crank it past 10 to 11. Yeah, in ZBrush, that brush is known as super smooth or smooth stronger. And where you can find that is if you hit the comma key and you go to your brush menu, you have all these folders and you have this smooth brush folder, and it's right here, smooth stronger. But in the program that shall not be named, you can actually crank your brushes beyond 100% power. Between 3 and 4, I think, like 3 and 400. You can also mess up a regular smooth brush in modifier menu to smooth brush settings and crank it higher than even smooth stronger. Ah, yes. I haven't done that. There are not 2, 3 programs. Yeah. It's like the B word and the N word, but it's I can't really say the N word because that sounds like something else. But it will get me in trouble. So I'll just say that mobile app. The Z intensity. So in ZBrush, the Z intensity on the regular smooth brush goes from 0 to 100, right? Up here is the intensity, 0 to 100. But the smooth stronger brush starts at a higher strength and goes to a higher strength. So it's like 2x or more than the regular smooth brush. And that one you want to use with like Dynameshed meshes and Sculptress Pro meshes that are very, very dense. But you do not want to use that on low resolution meshes because it will smooth them right out of existence. And I'm not kidding. On what stage a person should concentrate on pose? That's completely up to you and what you want to do. For example, if you're making a game character, you typically want to pose at the very, very, very end, right? But if you're doing a 3D character or a character for 3D printing, then you can pose right away because your character will end up in that pose eventually. So you can do that, and it's okay. You can use synonyms: Smoothie Machine and the Traveler. Oh my gosh. Yes. I love it. I love it. You made my day. The Traveler. Traveler sounds all mysterious. I love it. Smoothie Machine. Because that's what it is. You know what's funny? When you do a search for that Smoothie Machine word, you get all of the results from the Smoothie Machine and the 3D program. And so it looks way more popular than it is because of that reason. They get in the way of each other, essentially, in SAS, in the SAS. So I sculpted this thing using the Traveler and then rendered it with the Smoothie Machine. Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, I need to give this guy ears. Maybe that's what's going on that's missing. Oh gosh. Oh, you don't get a brown ear today. Oh, local smooth. So Ashley, I'm starting a new Patreon. Have you ever tried a Patreon yourself? I don't know how it's going to work or if it is going to work or not, but I'm doing the entire Patreon using the Traveler, and I hope it's going to work. Feet. How do you choose your references? Is it by their complexity or simplicity to sculpt, especially during your live streams? That's a good question. I actually I choose character concepts that excite me. That's that I love. Like this one by Sean Galloway. I love his art. I love how he stylizes things. And then that's the first thing. And then the second thing is I choose it based off of how far I think I can get it within 2 hours, right? And then, you know, sometimes it will go into like next week's. Sometimes I'll do a 2-parter. But yeah, I will choose concepts based on their simplicity. But the main thing is if I like it. So like some people would just ask me to sculpt something that they want me to sculpt, and sometimes it'll be okay and I'll be like, yeah, that's pretty cool, but most of the time it doesn't really, because I'm very, very particular about my concepts. They have to be from a 3/4 view. They have to show volume very, very well, because it's like a blueprint, right? If you don't have all the information there, like don't choose a concept that is drawn directly from the front or directly from the side, because it's like a recipe that's missing half the recipe, and you got to make up the rest. And if you're not very experienced, then what you're going to make up is not going to be that great. It's going to not turn out as well as you want it to. A 3/4 view typically has all the information you need, unless there's some hidden something on the back. And if that's the case, then you want to look for a character who has a concept from the back. Like for example, I did the Zenyatta baseball skin for Overwatch, and they gave me both the 3/4 view from the front and a 3/4 view from the back, and it was perfect. Like a good challenge. And then I commissioned Johannes Helgeson, the guy who did the pirate girl behind me. He did another one for me, and there were some like specific bits that I needed detail of, and he just drew me those things, not the entire character from the rear 3/4. So that's another option as well. So I wouldn't, this is just me, and you know, Ashley, maybe you can chime in on this. I wouldn't specifically look for characters that have turnarounds that the original artist has drawn, because typically those turnarounds aren't that great. And no offense to the you know, the original concept artist, but I mean, you're essentially asking them to do your job for you as a modeler. You're asking them to reevaluate their original design and tell you what it looks like from the side and the front. And typically it's wrong, because you know, they're not used to working in 3D. And so yeah, that's why, and also drawing from the front and the side, it kind of just sucks the life out of the character, the original design. So I want the character from the original design because I want to try and capture that in 3D. So that's the second reason I don't like to choose concepts that are from the front and the side. Yep, also it's a bit of a crutch. You need to practice your own design skills. You don't need to be a fully fledged designer to be a character artist. You need some design sense to extrapolate from concepts. That's a hard word to say. It's too big of a word. Yes, absolutely, 100% agree. Yeah, you need to, you're an interpreter. of sorts when you're doing your modeling. And you need to know enough design skills. I cover this in my course. But you need to have enough design skills that when you look at a piece of concept, you can see what the concept artist was doing and thinking, so you can bring those design skills and art decisions over and push them into your 3D piece, like straights versus curves, for example, or like what was it called, the rule of thirds and all those things. You need to be watching out for those things so you don't miss them. And they'll just help your designs. McBobbles, what's up, man? Having sense is needed, then I'm in trouble. You need a t-shirt that says that on. How do I get a dark mask on my tablet pressure? When I create a mask, the result is very... I don't know. I'd have to see it. How do I get a dark mask? Like this? Do you not see? I'm not sure. The ability to capture the shape, design language, and art direction of a piece and continue it. That's where your value comes in as a character artist, right? So you're highly valued if you can interpret a design, because the design has gone through so much scrutiny typically before it even gets to you. Like in the concept department and the art director department, the art director in the concept design department, they've already gone over the design and they've greenlit it, right? And they said, okay, this is the character we want. And so they are entrusting you to make that design in 3D. If you can't, then there's going to be an issue, right? You're going to be needing to be art directed more than you should be. So your value as a 3D character artist comes from being able to interpret a 2D concept as closely as humanly possible. It's not, they typically don't want you to come in and put your own spin on it, is what I'm trying to say, because then there'll be trouble. They'll be like, hey, this isn't the design we wanted. Why'd you do this? Why'd you put flippers on it? Why'd you make the head bigger? So typically for a character like this, like it's hard for me to do this during a live stream, but when I'm not streaming, I really, really go through with a fine-tooth comb and really, get the forms and proportions and measurements really, really tight as I possibly can. A good 30 minutes. Well, it's more like days of nudging. Right, Ashley? Days of nudging and feedback and more nudging and feedback until you get it right. And sometimes it will be, sometimes the concept just won't work. And so then it's a team effort to kind of redirect to something that will work. Makes me feel better about, yeah. So like baseball zenyatta, that was like pages and pages and pages of feedback from them to get their design very particular to absolutely fit their game, down to like edge tightness. Yeah. And that's why the great games are great, If it's a personal piece and I'm nudging for more than 15 minutes, I'll be getting up, walking away, and forgetting I was even working on it, starting on something new. Yep, absolutely. But when you're getting paid for it and you're in a production, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, but I've just been in productions where, it's not right until it's right, until everybody's happy with it. Yeah. Are you using a Wacom tablet for the dark masking? Yeah, I'm not sure. You might need to reach out to support at Maxon to ask if you're having troubles. Or you can hop on certain like their Discord channels or Facebook group and stuff and ask there. Because I'd have to see it to see what the problem is, and I can't really. I can only guess from this point. Let's see. I'm gonna pull this cheek out even more. Intuos Pro, yeah, I shouldn't be having that issue. You can adjust your pressure settings under preferences, I believe. Yeah, you can try and find pressure settings under there and tune them. Make sure Windows Ink is turned off. That is that's great advice. Windows Ink is gives me grief. All right, guys, it is time. I need to use the restroom. So I'm going to leave it here. I didn't get his underbelly colored and his tattoos on there, or his fur colorings. But that's to come. All right, you guys. As always, I give away my brushes and this user interface for free over on my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. It's right here. Thanks, Ashley. And I also teach an online course called the 3D Character Workshop, and it is fully inclusive. It takes you from nothing all the way to full in-game character and 3D printed character. And I'm also going to be starting a Patreon soon. Be looking for that. And I'm opening up a mentorship so you can get some one-on-one feedback from me directly. So, all right, guys, thank you for hanging out today. Take care. And we will catch you all next Monday for another one. All right, guys. See you. Thanks, everybody.